Hi everyone, it's Paola. Welcome back to my art and graphic design channel. You guys know what I do over here, and if you don't and you're new here, maybe you're just randomly watching this, hi, welcome. Please subscribe. I do graphic design, art, life, lots of things. It's a very creative space over here, so subscribe, ring the bell, all of that. Basically on my channel, I don't think I've done a video like this before where I talk about a specific brand, but I was really excited and I just really wanted to sit down and film, so that's what I'm doing. Because as I woke up this morning, I got the news that there was a new re-release of old historical American Girl dolls. If you guys don't know, I'm a huge American Girl fan. I grew up with the dolls. If you don't know what the brand is, it's basically 18-inch dolls, and I'm a collector now. I had them when I was a kid. I kept them. I kept a lot of the stuff I had as a kid, and now I have that collection still, and my parents helped me kind of bring it over as I moved to Australia, and now I'm kind of an adult collector, and there's a huge community of adult collectors. I love it. I'm in all the chats and the groups and the forums, and I'm on TikTok, and I love it. And that's why I wanted to make a video about it, honestly. This is like honestly one of my best kept secrets, is that I'm an American Girl collector. So it's actually just been really in my feed lately with all the new releases, but then I also follow Pentagram Studio, which, if you don't know Pentagram, it is the largest independent design studio. So they work on creating branding for lots of different companies all over the world. Paola Kassa is one of the founders of it, and I love her. She's like one of my design idols. So yeah, Pentagram, if you don't know, definitely check it out. I love their work. But basically what they recently did was the new rebrand for American Girl. So that was really exciting because it's really combining one of my hobbies and then my big love of life, graphic design. And honestly, if you're not familiar with American Girl, I think you can still really appreciate this rebrand. And basically what I wanted to look at was the whole process of the brand and all the elements that went into it and what made it so amazing, because they even posted like their whole brand guide, and we just did a video on this channel. Last video was about making a brand guide, and this is basically the exact same thing. So I did want to showcase it because I feel like there's so many cool ways to do brand presentations, and they are so helpful for just analyzing a brand, and I love it. So I thought we'd go through it. So what I'm actually going to be going through is the Pentagram article where they showcase the brand and everything. So that's where all of the credit for the design team will be, all of that. It's linked below. I just really wanted to talk about it. So first, a bit of backstory. I want to go through the old logos of American Girl and how it has adapted into today. So it was actually founded in 1986, and it was called Pleasant Company at the time because it was started by Pleasant Rowland, and she's the one who started the American Girl doll line, and it started as only historical dolls, and it has expanded into lots of other things now. So that's how it started. It was called Pleasant Company, and they had an original logo. I wanted to highlight this because it does come back into what the whole mission statement of this brand is, and I think they've really held on to that. I think they got lost a little bit throughout the years, but I love that they're coming back to it. So I think that's a good thing to discuss in this brand refresh. So it then became American Girl and was acquired by Mattel, and it has had a bit of a different variation throughout the years with logo, but it has mostly stayed with this star and serifed font. That is until this new brand refresh, which has actually been in use since the beginning of 2023, but there are a lot of new stuff, and I think that's why Pentagram was discussing it, and just now it was in the media because they have a whole new kind of launch with what's going on, and that's what we have now. As a fan of American Girl and a fan of good branding, let's talk about all of the thoughts that went into this because it's actually genius. What's amazing about the Pentagram redesign is that the team who worked on it were fans. They are fans of American Girl, and some of them still have their dolls. It's mentioned in the article, and they just felt like it was so close to their heart making this, and that's what I love about a brand like this. I think the new American Girl brand really highlights how important it is to think about every single aspect of a brand, especially if you're doing a brand refresh for an established brand. Something like this that has history, but now you're bringing it into the cultural lexicon of today, and I think it's really important that they hold on to the tradition of what it is and how it started, but also adapt to be for kids now, right? Like kids now are not the same kids as before. It has just always been a thing with American Girl to want to keep your doll forever. Most girls I know that have grown up with the doll have kept them and want to give them to their daughters. And now the people who are my age are starting to have kids. And so that's important to keep that brand alive on both ends. I think this excerpt from the article really highlights what I was trying to say here. It says, "The moment was right for a rebrand. The doll's original millennial fans are now becoming parents themselves, and American Girl has seen a resurgence in its pop culture profile, in references ranging from Saturday Night Live and online memes to a serious cultural history and think pieces in the New York Times, the New Yorker, and the Paris Review." So let's talk about the logo. So the logo design is a now thicker serifed font. So it actually is a fully developed typeface that the brand is using because this studio made it. So Pentagram made a full-fledged typeface that is so much detail, obviously, to create for a brand. Making a whole working typeface, that's a whole thing in itself that can take a really long time to develop. So love that they paid that much attention to this branding project to make their own typeface for the whole brand and overall look. And the star logo that has been the motif of American Girl for a very long time has now been turned 18 degrees to the side, so it's an actual homage to the 18-inch size of the dolls. And I just love that. I love when brands are so clever in such subtle ways, and you would really only know if you looked into the branding, but it really means something. So I love that. The eyes in the American Girl logo, this is what I love. The bigger eye in the first word and the smaller eye in the second word are actually two different sizes. It's very, very subtle, but I love when a logo has like a little quirk with like different type sizes and just different layers to things, because when you first see it, you wouldn't recognize that they're actually two different sizes, and then if you look closer, you're like, oh yeah, it is a little wonky, but in like a really good way. The color palette has also been extended into a new berry color, very specific berry color. There has been lots of variations of this red maroony type of color throughout the years, but now there is a specific one, and they are kind of creating it. In the article they mention it's Tiffany blue. So if you know, like Tiffany & Co has their iconic blue, robin's egg blue color, this is becoming that. So there'll be no variation, no change. It's the berry color. But then they also have this whole extensive color palette that really leans into the 90s style. Like this, for example, this t-shirt was released and they came out with kid sizes, adult sizes, and doll sizes, which is so funny. I don't think they realized until maybe this shirt how big their adult audience was, and a bunch of people bought it and it sold out. They've really started to lean into the right things like nostalgia. They've also brought back the silhouette look. So the silhouettes of the girls, the historical characters that started it all, it was really at the beginning encouraging girls to also read, and I loved that. Every doll came with a book and you could buy lots of different books in a series. So what I really love is that they brought that back to really lean into that nostalgia, but also the learning aspect. I think for a while where it lost its way is it was turning into just kind of like a throwaway thing for kids. Like, okay, here's another toy, but not something special that you'd want to keep forever, which the brand just always did that back, at least when I was a kid. And I think sometime along the 2010s is when it really kind of lost its identity for wanting to be that. It was just a toy on the shelf. They've also created a lot of patterns, and the patterns are actually based off of the original dolls' dresses and those patterns, and now they are all over at the American Girl stores. You can go and see that it's on the wall. It's featured in a lot of different versions now, but it's still that berry color. So I love that it's part of the berry and pink palette. I think it's really amazing how graphic design, how good branding can do that for a brand, and it can make a really special experience. It's not just something you want to look at and something that's pretty. It creates a whole world for yourself, and especially for a kid, visuals are so important, and I just love that graphic design can capture you in that way and become so special to you that you'd want to keep it forever. It's truly amazing that graphic design, a brand refresh, has brought back that same feeling to the brand that it was missing for a while. And that's not even just in product change, that is literally in having the same product but having a better brand experience. So like I said in the last video, a brand guide is where you can showcase all of the elements of a brand. You can showcase the color choices, the palettes, the core palettes, the different logo variations, the reasons behind everything, how you're supposed to use that brand. And I think that they did such an exceptional job at being as detailed and thorough as possible and really adhering to what the brand was really originally all about. So they really brought that back, and I love that just with a new visual narrative, they've created a whole new story. I really do think that this brand refresh is going to take on a new life of its own and really have a new revamp for the brand, for maybe a new audience. I personally watch a lot of YouTubers who talk about American Girl dolls, but I wanted to talk about the branding side of things and why I think it really impacts people of all ages. And I love that they're becoming more inclusive, they're focusing on education, exactly what they should be doing, and I just love the dolls and the whole brand overall. And I love that Pentagram did this design, and it's just like all of my favorite things meshed into one. It just made me so happy. I had to talk about it. Okay, so this was basically a video talking about a specific brand that I'm a fan of and kind of their highlights and what's going on with the new brand update. So yeah, let me know if you want to see more videos like this where we discuss maybe the history of brands and how they've changed over the years. I'd love to discuss any type of graphic design stuff because that's what my channel is all about. So yeah, let me know in the comments brands that you love specifically, like their branding. What do you love about them? Yeah, let's chat and like this video because that really helps my channel. I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.